What's good, family? Want to talk today about the two poles of magnetism. You know, African culture creates African science, and African science is how the universe actually works. Africans, we didn't get our science by taking it from other people. We get our science from observing ourselves while knowing that we are a reflection of the whole universe. So as we know ourselves, we come to know the universe. As we know the universe, we come to know ourselves. And the cycle of that reflective process, it increases in density, and our wisdom increases. So what you have to realize is that this process is always going on. Whenever you have self-reflection, you will have increases in wisdom, health, and harmony. Whenever that process is disrupted, you will end up with stagnation, disease, and death. So you look to the result, and you can see which end of that polarity of that cycle has had the predominance over time. There is no gray area. There is only self-reflection or self-destruction. There is only truth or there is illusion. Illusion is whatever you can't see reflected in nature, because nature is always true to itself. Truth is true to itself, and truth can only be true to those true to truth. We've been misoriented, and just like a scale, if it's not calibrated to true zero, everything it measures will be off. Judgment is the weighing and measuring of energies. Understanding is a frequency. Understanding is a channel of communication with the cosmos, the higher intelligence, and is not a spook. I guess what I'm encouraging you to do is to come out of intellectual pontification and return to the African form of knowledge creation, which is understanding. Understanding can only be increased through experiencing it. Truth is a frequency heavier than gravity, and when you push into it, it results in the growth of your ability to see truth. You will start to resonate on higher frequencies. Just as, you have the water at the lowest vibration is ice, moves a little bit faster. It's a liquid, and in its higher frequency, you can't see it with your naked eye because the eye only has a certain range that it can perceive information. But this is the frequency that truth resides on, and higher. So you have to turn yourself into something that can receive truth at its highest vibrations, because it will not lower itself for you. Understanding is the one thing that can't be taken, stolen, bought, sold, given away, but it's responsible for your ability to see truth. Your words. In this Western world, we're taught to speak just to be speaking. But that's dangerous, because if your words are not a direct reflection of understanding, your own understanding, if whatever comes out of your mouth is not a direct reflection of your own understanding, you are going to falsify your own consciousness. You see. And that's what this is all about. I give you enough toxins to consume mentally, and you will be so numb that my little magic tricks, my little illusions are enough to pacify you or satisfy your need for truth. Because here's what happens. Whenever you start to embrace truth in a rhythm that it flows in, your ability to recognize it goes up, but also your desire for more of it goes up. That's an unintended consequence. So I have to use words, if I'm to deceive you, I have to use words like desensitization. When if you just look at what it actually is versus what they define it as, I don't even care about how they define it. But you look at what it actually is, it's all about flooding your stream of consciousness with toxicity in order that it numbs your ability to sense truth. If you can't sense truth, then you don't know my lie. And if you don't know my lie, then I can keep getting away with it. And that's what this is all about. But when you start to just reflect on yourself and understand that how you feel is how you feel, your understanding is your understanding, my understanding is mine. When I speak to someone, I am speaking to articulate my understanding with the highest precision possible. When I'm listening to someone, I am listening to receive their meaning with the highest precision possible. I want what I hear and understand to be what they are articulating to me. Not what they want me to believe they are articulating, but what they are actually articulating, because everything connects to itself via context. What is said, why it is said, to what end it is said, and who says it are all part of the same context that determines whether, how I'm going to receive the words from that person's mouth. If I look at my little cousin, my little 5-year-old cousin, and he said, "I'm going to kill you," I'll probably just laugh it off. But if the President of the United States knocked on my door and said, "I'm going to kill you tomorrow," those same words have a different effect based on who said it to me. You acknowledge everything, and you will receive the full weight of what's coming at you. And if your own heart is righteous, if you are connected in the truth for yourself in a self-reflectory manner, you will be able to trust how your mind receives truth. Your mind will immediately weigh and measure it, and you will know how to deal with that. Your reasoning, your judgment will be sound only when your truthfulness level is sound. If it is not sound, you will result in self-destruction. So you have to be mindful of yourself and always truthful with yourself. But you live in a society that is anti-truthful. But you have to be truthful about the anti-truthful society you live in. All the ego traps available to you. You got to let your ego go. And you don't just let your ego go by saying, "I let it go." No. You let your ego go by pushing your ego into the truth. One of the exercises I would do is just let people speak to me as honestly as they could. However I felt about what they said, I kept it to myself. If it made me feel bad, I would go and do work on myself to go and understand the root cause of where that feeling came from. Once I acquired understanding in that area, no matter what was said about it, it didn't make me feel bad. So I realized that people's ability to crush me with their words depended on my ignorance of myself. So if I started to feel a certain way, they were informing me of an ignorance I had to myself, which I could go remedy via direct action. I was grateful. I'm impossible to insult these days. I'm no longer outwardly expressive, but I am self-reflectorial. So when you ask me a question of me, my answers are immediate because I know me, and I know what I'm looking at. And through me speaking of me, those who are self-reflective of themselves, we can share common experiences with each other, just like an atom, right? You share electrons, but you don't share atoms. You don't share the nuclei. And the nuclei can't share electrons unless the nuclei themselves are stable. So what we have to realize is that the entire solar system is a gigantic atom. We are comprised of atoms, but the behavior of atoms is the same on every single level, in every single dimension. So if you understand the behavior of atoms, you know what's healthy. If you don't understand the behavior of atoms, then me getting you to act in ways that are counter that order, I can cause disease in you. I can weaken you to my level. Remember, barriers can be either transcended or they must be broken. But an atom that reflects itself very well will have an electron cloud so dense that nothing can penetrate it. So what must the invader do? The invader must find a way to weaken the electron cloud. How does he do that? He has to find a way to convince the nucleus to slow down its self-reflective activity, which will result in fewer electrons, which will weaken the electron cloud, allowing the loophole for the invader to join. Anyone asking to invade your core is a pathogen, because you can only share with someone who has something to share. And that's what culture is. Culture is the nucleus of a people. Culture is genetic as well. You don't have to be taught your culture, and you don't have to sit down and read books about it. In fact, I think we're reading too many books. I don't think we're doing enough observing of self. Your genetics will tell you everything you need to know about truthfulness if you would just listen. So these are my self-reflections. I want some of you guys to reflect on yourself and share. Because trust me, when you become self-reflective, you can't stop sharing. It's an impossibility. Well, until next time.